Welcome back. God save the Queen, or fire her. Oh, welcome back to What They Don't Say. And we have a queen now. We have the queen of what they don't say, and that's got to be Attorney General Pam Bondi. Because there's an awful lot of talk in all the social media platforms, and this is coming from Trump supporters. There's a lot of talk. People want her fired. They want her gone. Some of these people could not believe that Trump picked her. They didn't want her in there in the first place, and they're getting a lot of validation, but is it fair? Without a doubt, she is the only controversial member in the Trump team. Just her. That's it. Everybody seems to be pretty happy with everybody else. They all work good together. The public supports them, but Pam Bondi just can't seem to shake the crew that wants her gone. And I'll admit, at first, I didn't know there was anything wrong with her. So I've got a lot of friends that are very astute, some good thinkers. They're in Florida, and they've watched her all along. Throughout her years as AG down there in Florida, they were the most adamantly opposed to her. And the reason why is because after that Parkland school shooting down there, there was a lot of kickback, like there always is, from the gun control crowd. You know, the teachers' unions and everybody, they swoop in there. You know what they do? They rile up these kids. They feed their heads full of bullshit. And they get them out there protesting, carrying signs. It's like, oh, look, the kids are scared. The teachers are running all that, okay? The teachers and the Democrat activists are running this. The kids aren't setting up and organizing their own protests. Anyway, but that's what happened. So there was a knee-jerk reaction immediately, and there was a big push. Well, right away, the first thing of the knee-jerk reaction was you had to be 21 to buy guns. 18 to 20-year-olds, they lost their gun rights? You're telling me the people that can sign up to go to war can't get a 22 for shooting here? If you're a legal adult, period, you're a legal adult, you got the rights to everything. To my way of thinking, and that many people agree with, that is unconstitutional. That is extremely unconstitutional. That was a mistake. Pam Bondi was all over it. She was behind it. She promoted it. Basically, the gun people, the Second Amendment people, really don't like her. Gun owners of America came out against her at the beginning of the pick. When you don't have the Second Amendment people, you don't have a lot of good conservative support. And that's why so many people were surprised to see that Trump chose her. Like I say, I didn't know, so I asked the Florida people, and this is what they came back to me with. I researched it, and it's true. There's never been an anti-gun law come up that she didn't back in her state. It's like when Trump made the mistake of killing off the bump stocks. You know, truthfully, I'm a shooter. I've been a shooter all my life. I don't even remember when I learned how to shoot. I was so small. I grew up packing a 22 repeater around. When I was 8, 9 years old, they'd give it to me with a box of shells, and I'd get to go out in the pasture at my grandma's farm and wander around all day, half-mile from the house, shooting everything that moved. Mostly I was after ground squirrels. I mean, I've been a shooter all my life, and I wouldn't have a damn bump stock. You know, I like to hit things I'm aiming at. You're not going to do that with a bump stock. And the guy in Vegas that used that one, when you figure how many people he wounded compared to how many shots he fired, that was pretty damn poor shooting. But the law as they did it was unconstitutional. So that's the second strike against Pam Bondi doing something unconstitutional regarding the Second Amendment. She was big in support of the red flag laws, where when they decide that you might be a risk, they can come and take your gun. Really? They can't come and take your business license? They can't. They don't reject your tax money. You can't decide that you're going to take away someone's right to feel better. The Constitution's not written that way. But there's a lot of people that do support her. Trump does. What did he see that we didn't? There's something else people have to remember about this is like, Trump didn't put her over there and forget about her. That guy, they have conversations in the back that we don't even know about. The first thing that really raised the red flags for me, and this struck a lot of the country, was when she grandstanded so much about, we're going to release these Epstein files, we're going to have everything out. People want to see some of these big shots go down. We're tired of it. We've been watching all of our lives, the big guys never go down. They pick off some scapegoat down the lower end of the food chain nobody ever heard of, and they fire him. They say, we got to the bottom of that. Meanwhile, everybody that was controlling this guy, they walk away free. The money, the power, they always walk away free. That includes Hollywood. That includes the whole royal family, which seems to be basically a bunch of perverts. Every time there's a sex scandal in England or major sex scandal in America, there's always some kind of British royalty involved. I mean, isn't it bad enough that they've been inbreeding those royal families for 500 years without having to continue the modern perversions? I don't know what's going on with that bunch, but, you don't want your kids mixed up with the royal family. But why do that big names always walk? So when Pam Bondi came out, said, we're going to get to the bottom of it, we're going to release everything, and then they get like a little file box full of stuff. And she's like, what? This is it? This is all we got? Well, if you didn't already know what you had, why did you run your mouth and say that you're going to release everything without seeing it first? If she was new to the job, I would understand that. But she's only new in D.C. She was an AG for a long time down there in Florida, and this is a lesson she should have learned. The woman's almost 60 years old. She's been at this a long time. You don't go running your mouth to the public, especially on a national level, unless you know what you've got and know you can back it up. That's just common sense. You don't do that in a company. You don't tell your employees, hey, I'm going to do this, this, and this. Until you know you can do it. People are watching you. That was careless. So right away, and it was because of an act of insubordination. No question about that. But it was careless of her not to confirm that she had the goods that she promised she was going to release. That's on her. It's on the FBI agents, the holdovers, the radicals, the anti-Trump, the lefty FBI wing. Yeah, they deliberately hid a bunch of that shit in New York. Well, why was it in New York in the first place? And are you telling me that there's no duplicates of any of this stuff? It's like if Harry and FBI Wing 3 down on the end of the row wants to go through those papers for victim names, he's got to wait until Shirley over there in aisle 4, corridor 4 of the FBI wing is done with that file before he can get it. There's only one copy of everything. Well, they've had a few years to be scrubbing a lot of that evidence. Now we're supposed to believe that they've got it all. But she put Kash Patel on it. He was brand new, but she sent him right out. And I believe that guy's heart's in the right place, and I believe he's dedicated and intelligent. But he's under her, so he gets sent out. Lo and behold, they got a truckload. Now, Pam Bondi can't tell the difference between a file box full of documents and a truckload of documents. Maybe you ought to look at the load before you go making promises saying that you're going to release everything. It's kind of nice to know if you got everything. So Kash Patel, he just vanished when that happened. That's his FBI. And it was a real slap in the face for him. The guy didn't deserve it. He'd just gotten in there. It wasn't his FBI. It was the leftover FBI. He knew it wasn't cleaned up yet. He knew how big a job it was going to be. We all did. Bondi knew too. So why make the promise? Poor old Cash Patel, the guy just walks into the job and boom, gets hit with this. He goes up there and went quiet. As soon as that happened, Bondi went quiet too. She said, we're going to get to the bottom of it. I told Cash Patel, I want to know within 2 weeks what the hell happened. Well, that time's come and gone. Why haven't you told us what the heck happened, lady? Make it dramatic like you did in the first place when you announced it. We understand you got the documents back. Who got fired? Why are you still quiet about this? What happened when you got to deep diving in the New York office? Republicans have a huge problem. Democrats, as soon as they find somebody that did something wrong, boom, that person's gone. Republicans say, oh, we're not done investigating. It's like, no, you've got enough goods to nail 16 people, and you let them all go until you get the last 3 investigated, even if it takes 10 years. Why do they always do this? When you've got the goods on somebody, you go ahead and get them. If anybody should know that, it's the FBI, because that's how they always get the mobsters now. They pull them in there. They'll pull in that low-level guy they've got all the goods on. They put them underneath that one light bulb hanging from the ceiling and tell them, look here, Johnny, you're going to tell on your big guys or we're going to lock you up the rest of your damn miserable life. So what's it going to be? You going to prison tomorrow or are you going to tell on your boss? That's how the FBI used to work. So why can't we start arresting these low-level people? Nobody's getting arrested. Why? I know they've got a lot of people to clean up. They've got to purge that FBI. They've let a lot of people go. But we're not getting the messages, the feedback back from the FBI and the DOJ to inspire the confidence those people need right now. Because as we stand at this moment, the DOJ is the only weak spot in the team as far as most Americans are concerned. Most Trump supporters. Most actual American patriots. They're the only controversial figures. Cash Patel is taking it because of Bondi. It's not his fault. So what happened? Now, there's a lot of people that do support her and say that she should get more time. I mean, after all, look at the mess she did walk into. And the problem with the DOJ is the work they do has to be painstaking. You've got to have all your ducks in a row. You got to line them up. You got to have your facts right. You can't just go to court on supposition. You got to have it down. You got to have it on paper. You got to have supporting evidence. That doesn't happen fast. The 2 slowest departments to get results in government are the DOJ, because it's got multiple departments within it, and they've all got to work together, and they've all got to be right. And then those behind the economic policies. That's a slow ship to turn. It takes a while for the economics to get through the system. Those 2 departments are the slowest ones. Anyone else can go out and most of the departments can pretty much change things overnight. Even if they just start building a highway that you can see, there's results right away that people can see. Not so with the DOJ and FBI. So are people getting hasty? Do they just need more time and maybe kind of a probationary status for, at least in the minds of Americans? Probationary status for Bondi. Just watch and be ready because she better be producing something or she just needs to go. Time is a wasting. But there has been some things. You got to consider Trump is not ignoring this woman. He didn't just put her in there and walk away. He is very in touch with everybody. Whatever she's doing, he's aware of it. And he's watching a lot closer than he did the first time. He's keeping these people hopping. I mean, have you ever seen a cabinet where the people were so busy? I mean, they're constantly out there speaking and getting results and doing things. And it's like, my God, usually those people get appointed and everybody forgets who the hell they are. Now, everybody, hell, Burgum has been in the news. When do you ever hear from the Interior Secretary? You don't. But it's happening now. Trump is involved. Trump is watching Bondi. Whatever she's doing, whatever Kash Patel is doing, Trump is aware of it. If she needs her ass kicked back in the office, if she needs her trip to the woodshed, she'll get it, because I don't believe Trump is going to let it slide. My greatest confidence in Bondi right now is the fact that I know Trump is watching her, and Trump is aware of what she's doing. She's doing a lot of it for him. Look at what Trump went through himself. A lot of it because of the FBI working at the behest of the administration, and not only the administration, but whoever was running the administration, this globalist bunch that we keep talking about, the same people that are running the politics, the discourse and unrest in Europe are the same ones running it here, and the FBI is tied into all that. There's a lot of people in the FBI that are in this globalist friggin' nightmare establishment. They're the ones that went down there. I get so tired of hearing, 99.5% of these FBI guys are just the salt of the earth, best people, law dog, man. They just swear your hand on the Bible. These guys never do anything wrong. They just want to uphold the law. Well, they sure didn't have any trouble finding 30 of those guys to go raid Trump, did they? They didn't have to go in there digging through her dresser drawer, did they? Don't give me this shit about the FBI being 99.5% good, because they've shown us that they aren't. Trump knows that they aren't. And they were brutal to him. That guy, think about how many nights he went to sleep. Finally, maybe 2 a.m. after laying there for a couple hours, thinking, why is the FBI doing this to me? They burned him. Don't think that doesn't leave scar tissue. That guy has a vendetta. He is going after. He is going to clean that shit up. He's going to get to the bottom of it. Rudy Giuliani was great for Trump. Boy, he really bent over backwards on that whole Russian hoax, the Russian operation, where we all know what that was. Well, one of the FBI agents involved with that, Dave discovered the guy was going to write a book. He told his boss he needed some time off. Like, who can do that? I need some time off. I got to write a book. But that's what he got. Well, somehow the DOJ got wind of the fact that this guy had gone in and copied 130 secret files. That's private stuff. I mean, that's national secret type stuff. You got to have clearance for it. And he got this stuff to use in a book. They just arrested him for it. Illegal access, illegal copying, espionage type crap. Anyway, that had to be the DOJ. You got to remember, Bondi isn't doing all this stuff herself. She delegates. The department's way too big. She delegates. But she has to manage those that she delegates. She has to keep up on the progress reports, guide them, give them direction, get them the help they need when they need it, get them the input, put the people together that work the best together. That's what the management is about. So somebody orchestrated an investigation that got this guy. Well, there's another thing going on. Oh, by the way, when they arrested him, he was on his way to the airport. He's flying out of the country. Was he planning on coming back? Or was he going to go to Europe with those 130 files and finish that book against Trump and release it over there? Food for thought. He might have found himself some country that he was going to wind up in, because we don't know for sure where he was going. But he might have found a safe place where we couldn't go get him. Now there's another case. There's a law firm that was involved with a bunch of that nonsense, going after the Trump family. Big law firm. And they got busted. I don't know, the news reports aren't even saying if this was a court case or if this was just private negotiations, but they did a lot of stuff wrong. All of a sudden, this hardcore lefty lawyer group, they say, well, you know what? We'd like to make this right. How about we give the federal government $40 million worth of free time? Maybe they get $1 million an hour. I don't know, but that's substantial. But now they're going to do a bunch of prosecution work for free for the federal government, the drug cases and all kinds of different things like that. They're going to make amends and show their good graces. $40 million worth. I don't know what the hell these guys got caught doing, but it seems to me like they're just buying their way out of it. How about $40 million worth and the top guy that was behind this shit goes to prison, huh? Like we would. Now they just buy out and walk away. Maybe there wasn't a criminal thing they could prosecute them for, but I hope they're still trying. But Bondi just isn't putting anybody in jail. There's a lot of big people guilty of a lot of bad things. This Biden family, we know there's 10 of them that received illegal money. Hunter is globetrotting right now. The guy doesn't friggin' work. He was getting $80,000 a month in Ukraine. How about we don't give Ukraine any more aid until Zelensky gives us the records for what the hell was going on with the Bidens and everybody from Congress that was involved with this Burisma bullshit. Hillary was real big in Ukraine. These crimes are never processed. We know this. We had hopes on this administration, and they're not coming forth from Bondi, and that's why people are upset. That's why a lot of people want her fired. Because it's hard, and she still seems sincere to a lot of people. They say she needs more time. Other people think she's great and ought to be left alone. But here we go. And these are all people, all these people that are fans of Trump, the Trump audience, the Trump voters, this is the only divisive figure among the team. It's Pam Bondi. So if Trump fires her, then what? Boy, you're throwing the left a slow pitch right there. You know it's going to come out. It'll damage the team. But do we really give a rat's ass? They're Democrats. They're going to cry anyway, right? Oh, they'll say, oh, the cabinet is crumbling. Discord in the White House. It's all falling apart. The Republicans have always refused to do things because they're scared of stuff like that. To hell with it. They're Democrats. They're going to complain about something else anyway. Do what you need to do. But that doesn't mean that she does need fired at this time. Like I say, Trump is watching. But a lot of people don't think that Pam Bondi is sincere. People that know her from Florida say she's establishment. They do not believe she's sincere. They believe she gets on stage as an actress. And not a very good one. She loves the grandstanding. She likes playing the forceful character in front of a microphone, on a panel, in an interview. The big talk. It all sounds too scripted. It doesn't sound sincere. Somebody sounds sincere, for instance. How about Tom Homan? Does that guy sound sincere? Is Bondi as believable as Homan is? It's not selling that way. But how long should she have to put these cases together? I mean, it's only been a couple months, right? It does take time. We know it takes time. How much time should she get? Who would we replace her with? My choice was Matt Whitaker. I am familiar with Matt Whitaker. He was already in there for a test drive in the first Trump administration. For the love of God, I'll never understand why Trump fired somebody as great as Matt Whitaker. as honest and dedicated as Matt Whitaker and put in that piece of shit Bill Barr. He drug him out of the establishment mothballs from bushland and put him in there, and the guy started backstabbing him right away, and Trump forgot how to say you're fired. I never understood that. It seems to be the only weak point that he's got is picking these AGs. Jeff Sessions, God, I cried bloody murder on that. I took a chewing on social media for saying the guy was a establishment bum. And then later on, everybody acted like they're the ones that figured it out. This is that the way. That's how people are. But Matt Whitaker was so good, and he would be good again. But actually, he's been nominated to be the U.S. ambassador to NATO, which he would be good in there. He would go over there to Europe and kick ass. The guy is tough. And those European leaders would have their hands full trying to deal with that boy because he's already been through his battles. As a prosecutor, he did a lot of big drug cases. And he's very successful, and he does it with a smile. The guy's just tough. He's smart. He's capable, competent, and reliable. But that's also what we need over there in NATO. There's no good way to get rid of Bondi without bad signals, but there's no way to keep someone that's not performing without equally bad signals. If you fire her, she upsets the left. Oh, it's falling apart. If you keep her and she doesn't perform, then you're upsetting the conservatives. It's not a good spot for Trump to be in, and I'll guarantee you he's aware of this. He gets office time with her. All he's got to do is tell somebody, get her over here. Pick up the phone, say, Pam, now. Boom, she's there. Taking off her high heels and dashing down the hallway. He's watching her. Right now, America is not going to be happy unless we see some big heads roll. I know that's exactly where I'm at, and I think a lot of other people are too. The big guys never go down. Epstein didn't kill himself. We know that. We need to know who did. We need to know how deep that ran. It took 60 years to find out what happened with JFK. We still don't know. All we know is that, yeah, there was no magic bullet. My dad told me that when I was 6 years old. No, bullets don't turn in the air. There's no magic bullet. Anyway, we do take the comments and questions. If you've got input, if there's something that you've got an idea that is being missed and you'd like it looked into deeper, if I don't know it, we got the people that do. I'll guarantee you that. So let me know if there's something else that's just getting slipped under the radar and not happening when it should be. That's what we're here for. Everyone's got the same news all the time. They all tell different versions of the same stories, and that's how this stuff gets missed. We don't do that. You always got to look at what the other hand is doing. That's what we're here for what they don't say. This show, this new format, it's like everything else in my tech life. I hate getting new tech stuff. I hate having to learn new tech stuff. I don't even like getting a new phone because you got to go through that learning process. Of course, a week later, I love it. Wouldn't go back. But the new stuff, this has been a real learning curve for me, too. Sound trouble has been a problem. My voice is kind of a problem. My voice changed when I was in like 5th grade. And I started getting busted right away because the teacher could pick me out from the whole crowd talking. I was always the one that got yelled at because she was always sure that she heard me in the middle of it. My kids used to tell me, Dad, why don't you sing in church? It's like, well, if God wanted me to sing, he wouldn't have given me this voice now, would he? Anyway, I've had so many accidents. My hearing's gotten bad. It's hard for me sometimes to even tell how loud I'm talking because it doesn't sound loud to me. Not from inside here. There's just issues with the mixing and layers of dubbing. There's all this microphone play. I mean, there's everything that you got to consider with this. I always had people doing it for me. But I did over 150 radio broadcasts, coast to coast, as a constitutional consultant and political analyst. I never had to worry about that stuff. I just talk away, and they took care of all that. It's like, well, that seems easy enough. Now I'm doing it. It's a nightmare. I hope each one sounds a little better. I hope they're getting better. Got a lot of content. The list that you see now, these are the upcoming shows. There's going to be others that will pop up just because that's the nature of the beast. When things happen, they got to be addressed. A lot of times things have to be addressed in a timely manner. But there's a lot more to come back for. Really appreciate your participation, though. If you've got input, let us know. If you got questions, if you got comments, if you think there's a correction that needs to be made, let me know. It's an open door here. Anyway, God bless America. Thanks for being here. Hope you come back.